Bull, you alluded to it, but Anthony Lynn was a surprise interview candidate with the Browns on January 25th. They tweeted out that last night on the 24th, they completed a head coach interview with the former Bills head coach, Anthony Lynn. Jason, on Friday, we talked about the Browns Rooney Rule approach, and you said you didn't think they would bring in anybody as just a throwaway interview to be Rooney Rule complacent. So if Nate Shieldhouse was their guy and they met with him on Monday, they could hire him and just pay the fine. Do you feel like the Anthony Lynn interview was a legitimate head coaching interview, or was it more something to be Rooney Rule compliant for today's meeting with Nate Shieldhouse?
We'll find out. We'll find out if he's part of the staff in any way or not. I said that I would rather than pay the fine, just pay the fine. If you hire Shieldhouse. Now, if they were going to hire Udinsky, which obviously they're not going to now, that's a little bit different of a case. But if you're going to hire a minority, I thought it was silly to go through the charades of bringing in a guy who knows he's only there to comply with the rule. And I didn't like that. I still don't like that. I think the Browns handled that process. I know they got killed for it last week. I thought that was nonsense. I didn't think they should have been killed for it in the way that they went about handling it. And if they hired Shieldhouse and they weren't really interested in Anthony Lynn, then shame on them. Pay the fine. Just pay the fine. The NFL is not going to strip you of draft picks for hiring a diversity candidate. Think about how stupid that is. So, but we'll see. We'll see if Anthony Lynn fits somewhere on this coaching staff. Again, we just talked about the inexperience of Shieldhouse and the fact that he's probably not going to have a very large tree. And if you can bring someone in who has head coaching experience, who has been a part of a ton of different staffs and knows a ton of different ways of doing things, then bring him in and make him part of the staff. I hope it wasn't a sham interview, but at least they had the decency to go to him. And they didn't make him come to Cleveland. At least they went to him. And I guess we'll wait and see in a couple of weeks when they build out the staff what it looks like.
G?
Yeah, I think he'd be a good addition to the staff. Look at his experience there. He's been a head coach in this league. If it was me and I got a young guy in Shieldhouse who hasn't done it before, the first thing I want to do is I want to surround him with infrastructure of guys who've been there, done that, and is able to give him a level of advice and take care of their business so he can delegate. Anthony Lynn has been a coach for 3 years with the Chargers. He's been a lot of different places: Denver, Jacksonville, Dallas, New York, Cleveland one time, Buffalo, Detroit. He's been
10 teams.
10 teams. He's been at all of these places, so he's seen how a lot of things have worked well. He could tell you what didn't work well. So what they want to do is put him around something that can put you in a situation where you can be insulated from certain things, right? So that you can, and I like it. Like, I love the fact if I'm going to come in as a new CEO, the first thing I want to do, I want to make sure my team leaders is strong. I want to make sure my mid-level management is completely strong, bought in, locked in, understand what the objective is, so that now I can deploy those guys and I could focus on what it is at hand and doing. And in the beginning, you're only going to be good at what you do, right? He's been dialed in 90% on whatever his task is with McVay. I want to still continue to give him some of those processes, and then at the same time work his way into taking the total package and the total view of everything as he gets older and more seasoned. So I like it. I think that he will be a part of the staff. It'd be a great hire to have him on the staff. And I do think that if they do bring him on, it was a meaningful interview. Right now he's the running backs coach. I could foresee them giving him a title boost and a little bump up and making him a more integral part of, whether it's offense or defense. But I think it was a good move, and I think he should be part of the staff.
I don't know why we're just assuming he's going to be part of the staff and couldn't be the head coach. I don't, like this guy.
Why would you bring him in this late in the process if you really wanted him to be the head coach?
Well,
would he have been one of your early targets?
He should have been. I mean, he had more success as a head coach than Jim Schwartz did.
I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm just looking at the timing of it all.
Yeah, yes, it feels like maybe this was just done to qualify for the Rooney Rule. I hope that wasn't the case. He should be a legitimate candidate. It's kind of weird that nobody's ever talked to him, although nobody's really talking to Jim Schwartz either besides the Browns.
No.
And he's older. He's almost as old as Schwartz. But he has his career coaching record is 1 game over 500. certainly a lot better than Jim Schwartz. He was 500 with the Chargers and won an interim game with Buffalo. And he's, like I said, he's been around the league for 25 years. He has been with 10 different organizations, including the Browns. He was here under Romeo Crennel. He was the running backs coach that really great year the Browns had with Derek Anderson, where I think it was Jamal Lewis had a big year offensively in 2007. So he is certainly should be, even though they brought him in late in the process and maybe they weren't being, maybe, you never know. Who knows what he says in these interviews that maybe he gets on the radar. And I think it's, maybe if they end up hiring Jim Schwartz, which to me would be disappointing, but maybe they bring in Anthony Lynn as the offensive coordinator. I mean, he's worked on offense his whole career. So
entirely possible. Here's the one thing that I don't know if, as you talk about like Shieldhouse and his Rolodex and his contacts and everything, I hope he has somebody. This is one thing I've learned from doing this a long time. Every coach, it doesn't matter the sport, needs one guy on his staff that he knows has his back.
Yes.
Under any circumstance. He's not out for his job, because that happens a lot. It happens more than people realize, that you get guys that are trying to undercut and they're trying to climb and they'll throw the guy under the bus and they'll you need one guy that has your back no matter what. Terry Francona had it for years in baseball with his bench coach. Ty Lue had it with Larry Drew. Mike Brown had it with I forget the guy's name now. God, it doesn't matter. But you need
Who's Atkinson's guy.
What's that?
Who's Atkinson's guy?
That's a good question.
It was a guy that's with them from Brooklyn. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He's been with him every stop he's been.
Okay, there you go. So every coach needs it.
Yeah.
And for Kevin, actually, I think it was Callahan for a while. I think it was Bill Callahan for a while was sort of his guy.
Trevor Hendry. Sorry.
Okay.
Trevor
there you
Hendry.
go. And I don't know who, it's just something. I'm not saying Anthony Lynn would be that guy. It's just something that popped into my head as we talk about like building out staffs, regardless of who the head coach is, especially when you're young and your first time out, you're going to make mistakes, and you need somebody you can trust and somebody you can rely on, and a sounding board who has your back through thick and thin. And I guess what made me think of it was Larry Drew being that for Ty Lue. Larry was a guy who was a former head coach, didn't really want to do it anymore in terms of being in the head seat, and was Ty's guy through thick and thin. And Nate needs that guy if it is him. If it's Schwartz, you need that guy, but it's not as critical when you're 16. You've been doing as long as he has. But when you're young and first starting out, you really need that guy. So I'll be curious to see who he brings, how they build out the staff, regardless who the coach is, and sort of who that guy is.
By the way, Mary Kay is just, as we were talking about this, she's just suggesting, and it makes some sense, that if Shieldhouse got the job, he might bring Rams quarterback coach Dave Ragone, who's from Cleveland, with him. Maybe he would be that guy.
Shout out to Dave. I played against him in high school. He was pretty doggone good.
Against Dave Ragone?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He went to Louisville.
Yeah.
I know him from Louisville. I didn't know he was a Cleveland guy.
He went to Ignatius, left-hander.
He played 2 games in the NFL for the Texans in 2003. It was 20 for 40 for 135 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception.